So Captain Meads, tell me, you've been leading the Salvation Army here in Rocky Mount for, I guess, since last June. Is that right? Or since
Mhm.
June of this year?
About a year and a half, yeah.
Yeah, about a year and a half. So what brought you here? And, tell us a little bit about Rocky Mount. How'd you end up in this post in this time?
Well, unfortunately, when you work with the Salvation Army, you don't have a choice. I wish I could have requested it, but it was an answer to a prayer. By coming here, we're a little bit closer to home. But our first appointment as officers, my wife and I were in Lexington, North Carolina.
Sure. Home with
And
John Wayne Barbecue. They're very proud of that stuff.
there you go. You stay around barbecue long enough, you're kind of glad to get away from it. But we were there for 4 years. It's where our son was born, and then we got a phone call just one afternoon. It says, "Hey, you're being newly assigned to Rocky Mount, North Carolina," which I thought was just brilliant.
Right.
I was raised in Greenville, North Carolina,
Okay.
born in Raleigh, so I'm from here. And it was nice to come home, and we are loving it, every bit of it so far.
Well, great. I mean, welcome back, I guess. I was born in Greenville, actually raised in Rocky Mount. So there's a little bit of a twist there, I guess.
All right.
So tell us a little bit about the Salvation Army. I think a lot of people see you at the holidays and recognize the bell and recognize the general good works, but I don't think a whole lot of folks have a complete understanding of the organization
Yeah.
and what you do
Yeah.
and really how it's structured. So walk me through that, because I can tell you the truth, I'm not sure I know.
Yeah, the Salvation Army is an international movement, and it's part of the Christian church. And I emphasize that because one of the things that people don't know about the Army the most is the fact that we're a church.
Right.
We're a Wesleyan Methodist
Okay.
style of church. So if you've been to a Methodist church, you've been to a Salvation Army church. You've been a Salvationist. And we meet every Sunday at 10 o'clock for Sunday school, 11
Right.
o'clock for service. My wife and I both preach. We have about 40 people that regularly attend, and we have a beautiful brand new facility on Hunter Hill Road, and it is open to everyone. Put on a
Okay.
pair of shorts, t-shirt, come as you are, and just ready for worship. That's first and foremost what I want
Right.
people to know. After that, we do the social service aspect of what we do is just a byproduct that we kind of got into to be able to help and to assist.
Right. It's the outreach.
It is. And we find out that, if you can help that individual, when they're hungry or
Right.
when their rent's about to be, they're about to be evicted,
Right.
they're not really that much interested in getting the spiritual aspect taken care of. So
Right.
we feed them, clothe them, and then we try to work on the spiritual aspect to let them know that, hey, God loves you.
Right.
And you can get out of this slump that you're in. The social service program we offer, we have Pathway of Hope programs that helps women and children
Right.
to be able to ensure that they can stay in the home they have. They don't have to go through homelessness.
Okay.
And that for a child is a lifesaver, because any child that has to go through a homeless shelter or a shelter environment, you can just imagine what it's like to go to school and to feel like that. And we want to stop that. So that's a program where we work side by side with them. We do have senior assistants. We have senior programs that run on Wednesday afternoon. We serve them lunch. Starts at 10.
Okay.
But they do get served lunch, and they have about, 25 of the most beautiful people in the world that come over and enjoy themselves. My wife leads it.
Awesome.
And and then of course we have the bell ringing, which is coming up soon,
Right.
along with the angel tree. But first and foremost, we're a church.
Church.
We're a church. If
Bottom
we can,
line, how many congregants do you have here in Rocky Mount-ish?
yeah, we have on the books. We have about 75 on the books.
Okay.
And so some days we range between 30 to 60 to come to church, and any given day. And
Yeah.
well, it's just open arms.
So it's just like, the church, show up
Yep.
Sunday
Yep.
around 10 o'clock, and
Yep.
you'll
Your
be there
family.
for your family, and then you'll be part
Your
of it.
family.
And based on Wesley's teachings, which I find interesting, I don't think I knew that.
hmm
And so, where does the officer kind of component to that come from? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
so you've added a whole nother level to the organization of the church that I find fascinating.
Yeah, the quasi-military
There
kind
you
of
go, sure.
organization that it is. And that started in 1865 with William Booth in England. And his mission was to be able to get the message to those that weren't allowed in church back then.
Okay.
Single moms with
Right.
children,
Okay.
not happening. You're not coming to this church, and you were ostracized. And so he wanted the drunks. He wanted the inmates that were coming out of prison. He wanted the people that were homeless,
The
lost,
lost.
kids.
Right.
He wanted them, and he would go out intentionally. Soup, soap, and salvation was the
Okay.
motto that was back then, and it grew so fast. And the statements would be made, look at this army of individuals coming down the road now, for service, and it's an army of salvation. And
Right.
so with that being entailed, they grabbed hold of that and they claimed it as their own, and the Salvation Army was born. And William Booth became the first general of the Salvation Army,
Okay.
wearing the uniform. And if you look, you
Yeah.
can see it's pretty basic.
Right.
And if you see the S's that are up here, it's
Hmm.
basically save to serve.
Right.
And these uniforms go out where everybody is equal. All the guys pretty much look the same. If you're a soldier, the epaulets are different colors,
Right.
but you go out and because you get dirty, these uniforms get dirty.
Sure.
And there's nothing that is boastful, prideful about it whatsoever. People know that I'm in charge of the church and the administration aspect of it because of the rank that I carry, but I'm no different than anybody else.
Sure, of
I'm
course.
just same old guy. They just expect a little bit more and to make sure the doors stay open. And it's an honor and a privilege to be able to do this. It
Man,
really is.
That's just fantastic.
It
So
is.
tell me about Joshua's Challenge. I mean, that's a program that you guys have got going, and
Yeah.
something I think is beneficial for everybody to hear. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
wonderful program.
We adopted this. It was a program that started in Elizabeth City with the Salvation Army there.
Okay.
We, our community development director, Amelia Harper, and I noticed that we wanted to grab a hold of this program because of the fact what happened with COVID was that the kids that were in third grade last year, when COVID hit, they were in first grade. So they were at home.
Okay.
They weren't in the classroom. And the rate of children failing third grade and not making it to the fourth was about 73% in Edgecombe County, 74 in
Wow.
Nash, and about 60 some in Wilson.
So significant
Huge.
percentages.
Weren't passing their scores, weren't going on to the next
Right.
level, or they were being put in the next level and they couldn't read.
Right.
And so it was failing. But we saw what was happening in Elizabeth City and how easy the solution was. Basically, let the teachers decide, third grade teachers, decide which kids aren't making it. Pick them
Right.
out, bring them. We'll go pick them up. We went to Benvenue first,
Sure.
right around the corner. We pick those kids up, bring them to our facility. We pay the teachers.
Okay.
That was the incentive. We're going to pay for it, the education. It's not our curriculum. It's still their curriculum.
Well, it's hard to keep it sustainable if you're not paying folks, right? I mean, volunteer
Yeah,
workforce is great,
yeah.
but it's not necessarily reliable.
It only goes so far.
Right.
And teachers, I think, are very, very underappreciated.
I agree with that 100%.
And our kids need them. And so when we presented it to Benvenue, to the principal there, she said, why not? Let's try it. And they picked them out. We had 21 kids that came over. We had 3 teachers that were there Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for 2 hours after school. The parents came to our facility and picked them up.
Okay.
And when they did that, they were able to see that the individual attention that they were able to get made a huge difference. We gave them snacks. They were in a room where they knew their teacher.
Right.
They knew the subjects already. They didn't bring anything new. They just brought what they were already doing and just gave them an environment to really concentrate. No
Right.
bells, no fights, no whistles, no nothing.
Right.
And believe it or not, our kids that came that weren't not passing their pathway scores,
Sure.
98% of them passed at the end of the first 9 weeks of that program. We started it in late March,
Hmm.
and it was a 9-week program. There was one that didn't make it because they came in with about 3 weeks to go.
Okay.
But the rest of them passed. Then the scores that were in, they were able to take the test to be able to, officially go to the 4th grade, and that was up by over 35%.
That is fantastic. So,
And it didn't cost the parents a dime.
right.
All they had to do was pick them up and agree to it. And on top of that, the Salvation Army afterwards agreed to take any kid that wanted to Camp Walter Johnson for a complete week of camp, no expense.
That is outstanding. So how do you fund it? I mean, where do you get the funds for that? Because
Well,
and how can I help?
yeah.
Or anybody else?
Yeah. First thing you do is like with everything is pray.
That's right. Amen.
God, do you want this? And if you do, let's make it happen, because you don't always know where the funding is going to come from. But we did our best and we did our homework, and we made sure that we had all the documents and all the contracts in place.
Hmm.
We said we're going to try this out. And fortunately, Rocky Mount Salvation Army has one of the greatest boards of all time. We have
Right.
about 24 members, 18 that are truly active.
Right.
And they bought into the idea. They were so excited. They said, is that the solution? And they said, well, look, I'll tell you what, we'll try it. We'll
Right.
try it and see what happens. And sure enough, some board members came together. A few in the public came together. Money was brought. And then all of a sudden, we had 9 weeks worth of trial and error.
Right.
And when we did it, and the end result was phenomenal. Board members came by to see it. We had a video shot of the kids and the teachers and myself and Amelia showing the building, showing the kids. Gene Kitchen put the
Sure.
video together.
Sure.
So, and we did that about a month or so ago. We finished
Okay.
that video.
Okay.
And it's been documented, well received. And from that, this year, we're in the 4 schools.
That's
They're
outstanding.
going to give it a shot. And I can't say enough. You got Coker, Wembley. You got what other schools? Edgecombe County schools that are going to be in there. But last but not least, it was so well taken that we now have in place a grant for any dollar that is going towards Joshua's challenge.
Right.
They will match it dollar for dollar.
Okay.
Penny Barnhill Foundation
Right.
Came forward and said,
Sure.
listen,
They're super fine people. Some dear friends of mine, and they do so much in the community. You just can't underscore that enough.
really
But anyway,
yeah,
so the Barnhill Family Foundation set aside how much?
endless. Whatever comes in,
If you
they'll
can-
match it.
You'll match it.
You will match it. So we brought the budget together, said this is what we're going to
Right.
need this year. They said, you get half, we'll give you the other half. And
So
so
what's the goal? What is your goal?
for this year to be able to do all the schools and to be able
Right.
to do all the payments, everything, you're looking at about $95,000 for those 4 schools.
Okay, so
And
you would want to raise about $47,500
exactly,
just to hit the bottom line.
exactly. And we're about halfway there.
So, okay.
And we'll be getting into the first part of the lessons in October because they'll find out who's weak
Right.
and needs to be brought up. Each child can come in, they stay for about 9 weeks or until the teacher says, hey, you got this,
Right.
you got it. And then once they're out, another one slides in
Love it.
and in and out. Yeah.
So, I mean, they're identified obviously from the teachers.
Mhm.
It's a voluntary program.
Yeah.
What's the retention on that? So, if you've identified a student, first of all, how many of those tend to accept this opportunity? Because that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that 100%? Is that 50%? Do you have any general idea what that might be?
That's the wonderful thing about the teachers
Yeah.
that know these kids,
Right.
that know that they're on the cusp
Right.
of falling off, and you can tell that they want it. Now,
Sure.
you have those that are unfortunately on the cusp and just really, would just
Don't-
play around and wouldn't
Right.
embrace it.
Right.
So I'm thankful for the teachers that they're the ones that pick these kids out. And in fact, these kids, it is their teachers.
Right.
And so they know them personally, and
Right.
they bring them in. We had one young boy that came in. It's just a short story. He had autism,
Sure.
and he came to the building with his
Mhm.
mom. Wanted to make sure that this was going to be a fit for him because he was great at math, just wasn't very good at reading.
Sure.
And he said, this place is beautiful. I love it. I think I want to come. He said, on one condition. I said, what's that? He said, well, I get to ride a bus. Never ridden a bus. I said, I'm going to pick you up on that one and we're going to come. And he passed. He made it through.
Well, that's
got-
outstanding. A bus. That's
Yeah,
all it came
that's
down
all he
to.
wanted. Wanted to ride a bus. I said, you got it.
We can make that happen every day if you want.
Yeah.
Well, that's just awesome, and
Yeah.
I love the fact you've expanded into 4 different schools.
Yeah.
Now, do I understand that a documentary is being made on this program,
Mhm.
and when did that start?
The documentary was Jean's idea, Jean
Okay.
Kitchen's idea. Yeah.
Okay.
And she was intentional about getting the footage and the input from the teachers themselves
Right.
to see their energy, to see they called us on the phone this year saying, I want to be the one to come back for our school.
Wow.
She said, I want that position back again.
Right.
And then the teachers are saying, what are your kids doing? How is this happening? Your kids are going, they're flying. What's the secret? And it's just so simple. And it's like Joshua's challenge came from the Bible, Joshua 1:9. Read the scripture, hold it dear to your heart, and you too will succeed.
Right.
Read it.
Right.
Just read. Learn to read. And we can't fulfill it all. We actually could do probably about 7 schools right now that are interested in it, but we're taking baby steps, and we
Right.
still need help.
Well, you don't want to overcommit. I mean, the worst thing you
Yeah.
do is do that and
Yeah.
fail by folks falling through the cracks and not being. It's just you're doing it the right
Yeah.
way. I mean, you just build it slowly and steadily and sustainably.
Yeah.
That's really the key.
Exactly. And the one quick note, the Benvenue School is the only one that meets at our facility on Hunter
Okay.
Hill Road. The rest of the schools, they meet in their library.
Okay.
They have snack time, then they
Okay.
go and then they have their classes, and parents pick them up right then and there,
Okay.
or their school will take them home like normal.
Okay.
So they don't go far.
That's just unbelievable. So, so tell me a little bit about the board. What is their function? I know you're a church 1st and foremost,
Mhm.
but surely the board is not governing the church, or are
No,
they?
no.
It feels like it would be the charity side or the
Yeah.
social service component to what you guys do.
Yeah, it's an advisory board.
Okay, got it.
So that they do give their advice and their input. It's not a board of directors
Right.
per se.
So, I mean, fiduciary responsibility, it's a big
Right.
deal. But
Yeah. And it keeps us doing things that we're transparent. People know in the
Right.
community what we're doing. And that's
Right.
one thing I love about the Army is that there are no secrets.
Right.
People want to see our books. We're audited all the time. It is out there. And you rarely hear about controversy with the Army in the papers or anything else. Everything's laid wide open.
I don't know that I ever heard of one. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to go looking though.
Yeah. But we have a great board chairman. Ben Moore is our board chairman.
I know Ben.
Yeah.
Great guy.
He is. It's going to be his last year. Unfortunately, he's been doing it for 3 years now, and it does a great job. But every good board needs a good board chairman, and he keeps them busy with the subcommittees that we have, the finance committees, community development, the building committee.
Right.
When we got here, the building needed to be dedicated, and we needed to bring it up and make it look beautiful. And that board just works. They work. It's a working board, and they come together. And if you need something to make it happen, it's like with anything. If your leader is out there doing it, if my wife and I are putting forth the effort, people will follow.
Typically, that's the case.
Yeah.
And I get it. So the family store, tell me a little bit about that. That's something we haven't quite covered yet, but I think a lot of people are familiar conceptually with the store.
Yeah. The family store is a complete nonprofit, and its goal is to support the church.
Okay.
That is it.
All right.
That is it. Once we pay the employees that are there and pay the bills, everything else goes to the church. That is if we have the donations, and that is so important. Donations make the difference. We do pickups. We'll come to your house, pick up gently used furniture if it's not broken because we can't fix it. Clothing, household items, basically most anything. We will come out to your house. We'll pick it up if you call us.
Right.
Or you can come to our facility on Lawrence Circle.
Where's Lawrence Circle? It's
right across from Sam's, Dunkin' Donuts.
Sure, I know exactly what
right beside Capitol Ford.
That's right.
Just come there before 4:30, Monday through Saturday.
Okay.
You can drop it off, get a receipt, it's tax deductible, come into the store, shop.
Right.
But it's a great way for parents also, especially during the school year. You can come get a full outfit for $5, and know that the money is going back towards the church. We do have the store in Tarboro as well, and so that is there at the mall. But I can't say enough that we need donations. We need volunteers.
Right.
We need people to say, hey, what can I do in my community? Come see us.
Right. So have you found there's been a lot of competition in the donation space, or has it been pretty constant, pretty consistent, you think?
It's pretty consistent, but that's if, make sure people know you're out there. Make sure, you're very, very visible. And we're thankful for Amelia and her department for community development. We're approachable.
Yeah.
And you know what's going to happen when you donate to us. And
there are several bins around town too, right?
Yes.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you have one by Harris Teeter.
And Sunset, yep.
So
Sure
I was ringing the bell for you one year, and this little old lady comes up to me, and she says, this car full of things she wants to give away.
Right.
And she's trying to make the contribution to me as I'm ringing the bell.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm ill prepared to do it. And
Yeah.
I think I looked across the parking lot and said, I think if you put it in that bin, you'll be fine.
Be good to go. Just drop it in there. We'll pick it up. We have it there. We have them on Food Line on Hunter Hill Road and some other spots around town.
Can I Google that or check out our website?
You can. Yes, we have a brand new website that's been put together with all the information, hours. I think might have it up on the screen, and give us a call anytime if you want to be able to, whether it's donate, volunteer.
Right.
We're coming up into the time of year right now. We need volunteers, and that being Christmas.
Right.
And I can't say enough where if we don't have the volunteers like yourself to ring the bell, we have to pay people. And you're looking at $9 roughly an hour to pay somebody to ring that bell. So,
wow, that cuts into that a little bit. So how many spaces do you have for volunteers in any typical Christmas season, I suppose?
There are 17 spots that I have.
Okay.
There are between 8 and 9 really favorite spots that people always love, whether it be the Walmarts, the Sam's, Hobby Lobby, things like that.
So how many personnel do you need to be able to ring those bells? I know you're not doing it all day long. You are in some spots, but maybe not others.
Well, if we have hired bell ringers, it is from 9 in the morning till 6 at night.
Okay.
And so it's an all day thing. But with the volunteers, it can offset those costs and be able. We need as many volunteers as we can.
Yeah. There's no limit.
It really is.
You show up, you'll put us to work.
Exactly. And it's fun. We have one lady that volunteers. She brings a horse out to Hobby Lobby, a little pony. Penny,
Right.
dressed up in Santa's clothes. It's funny, the shoes and everything. Funniest thing in the world. But, it's something she does every year. The kids love it.
Yep.
And churches come together. They do it, the bands, high
Grabs
school
the
bands.
attention. Sure.
Yeah. And that is a source of support that we get. And a lot of people think that, we get rich off that. That money lasts till about March.
Right.
And then it's out. It's gone. And
again, you're deploying those monies toward church activities, toward the social programs, and
exactly.
so it's a kickstart.
It is.
It's certainly not funding you through the whole year.
Exactly.
Well, while we're talking about that, let's talk about this Roundup program that you've got at Harris Teeter.
Mm-hmm.
That's also attempting to raise money, and that's currently going on?
Yeah, it's currently going on now. If you go into Harris Teeter, make sure they ask you if you'd like to round up your change.
Right.
And what that does is the change that you do round up is noted. And at the end of the season, when they do this, we will get the proceeds and to be able, again, to support our programs and what's out there. We didn't, after COVID, we haven't been able to get back to ringing bells at Harris Teeter, but this is a way to be able to still help. And I'm so grateful for them that they are saying, we want to participate in this manner. And
Are you able to ring bells this year?
Oh, yeah.
I think, okay.
Yeah, starting November 1st. And JCPenney starts, but it officially kicks off the first Friday after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And we're going to kick that off at the Hobby Lobby right over there by Walmart.
Sure.
And it'll be a great event.
And so the food bank, that's another thing you've got going on that you do a lot of.
Yeah.
How are your supplies looking there? And I would imagine coming up here on Thanksgiving, that's probably something that's a big deal.
It is. And we have a great partnership with Food Line.
Okay.
We're able to, twice a week, we go there to be able to receive food, whether it be meat, vegetables, canned goods, whatever they have that they're saying is almost out of date. We're going to give it to you so you can still use it for the community. They've been doing that for years, and also with food grants. But we always need canned goods.
Right.
Always. You can come up to our facility. We have a drive-through that you can just come up. You can just drop it off if you like. You don't even have to. You don't even have to stay, and we'll take care of it. But we always need canned food. There's always a need, especially with the single moms. We had a huge influx with the single moms and the kids because, as you know, with COVID, it had some adverse effects on the whole dynamic structure of the family.
Sure.
I mean, whatever. And I hate to think about it, but whatever mom and dad may have been fighting about at the time, when COVID hit and they were stuck in the house, it got worse. And then all of a sudden we found dad was single, mom and a child were there. And then what do you do? And we were blessed. We were so blessed that the community saw that we were helping each one of those individuals. And they came together to be able to say, how can we contribute? Where there's food, money, time. You just don't realize the devastation. Fortunately, praise God, that we're getting out of that.
Right.
And we're seeing fewer and fewer people. But if it hadn't been for the prior donations, I don't know how we would have made it.
Well, how do I access it if I need some food? Do I just show up and where's the food pantry?
It is on 1000 Hunter Hill Road. It's at our facility.
It's at your facility.
Mm-hmm. If you were to come there, make an appointment, call for Jamie Lyles. It'll be under the Pathway of Hope program. When you hear the prompt, just talk to her. She'll set an appointment. You come in. Basically, it's basic information you fill out. Just your name, sign, and you walk away and with the assurance that you're going to have something to eat for the next 3 or 4 days.
That's fantastic.
And you can't beat it.
What have I left out? I mean, we have covered so much ground today, and I know you do so much more, and you can't really just hit it, boom, boom, boom. But what have I left out? Anything?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we'd like to leave people with is that the Salvation Army is here. Right. And we have the best interests of the community at heart. We listen to the demands. We listen to the needs. We don't implement programs that aren't needed in this community. What's needed here might not be needed in Greenville, and we might be doing something completely different. Right. But the best way to be able to make sure that you're heard and that your resources are going to where you want it to, whether it be a monetary donation or your time, is to come by. Come see us. The doors are never shut. We rarely ever say no, and we're going to try to help you in one way or another.
So the answer is yes. You just got to back solve to how to make it happen. That's really kind of where you're at.
And they can start. Our new website is up and running. I think that they said it's on the screen.
Yep.
Get on that. It is full of so much information that will lead you in every direction, whether it be programs for kids, senior citizens, church, whatever you want.
Sure. Well, look, fantastic. I want to thank you for coming
Yeah.
today. This has been a tremendous, insightful thing. I
Hmm.
want to thank you for what you're doing in the community and the
It's,
resource that you are for us.
it's an honor.
And I certainly put you in my prayers, and again, encourage everybody in town who's listening to this and thinking about it
Yeah.
to try to engage and
Yeah.
help. Whether it's ringing a bell, bringing food to the food bank, whether it's helping a neighbor, or at least offering that resource
Or
for
saving
you
a third
guys.
grade kid.
Saving a third grade
Yeah.
kid, and
Yeah.
and third grade is a significant
It is.
sentinel year for folks in the educational system,
Yeah.
and so it's a big deal that you should be able to move up to the fourth.
Let me make one more statement on that
Absolutely.
before we go. It has been shown and statistically that there are a lot of departments that will base their budgets of the Department of Corrections
Right.
based on how many third graders are failing.
That's
They will
right.
do their future budgets based on how many kids are failing. Can you believe that? And
It's amazing, but I've heard that statistic over and over and over and over, and so
yeah,
to the point that it's clearly true
yeah,
that if you can't read by the third grade,
yeah.
your likelihood of being incarcerated is a staggering
Hmm.
percentage, like 70, 80%.
Exactly. Exactly. So, from a model standpoint, it just makes for our community,
Right.
and this is why people should invest, should donate to this. One, we're going to double your money for what it's
Right.
worth. But secondly, for the business, it keeps your home safe. It keeps the
Right.
kids out of jail,
Right.
which keeps we're not spending so much money on that. It gives them a future.
Hey, look, simple as this: you've converted somebody who's a ward of the state to a taxpayer.
Exactly. And they
Yeah.
can take advantage of high school programs that are out there for pre-college and everything else. So if your third graders aren't making it, all these programs that are set up for seniors in high school are useless if you don't have anybody taking advantage of it. So we're pushing that this year. I can't wait to get back with you again sometime and give you some stats and show you some kids that are really making it.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
All
for
right.
being here.
Thank you very much.